A very good morning and welcome to the Breakfast News on Rajya Sabha television. And in the next 30 minutes, I'll be getting you the day's biggest top stories and also what to expect in the day ahead, starting with the headlines. Election Commission to hear Samajwadi Party dispute today. Factions led by Mulayam Singh Yadav and Akhilesh Yadav have submitted claims over control of the party. TCS CEO Natarajan Chandrasekaran, appointed chairman of the Tata Sons, replacing interim boss Ratan Tata, says leading the conglomerate a huge responsibility. DMK to stage a protest across Tamil Nadu as Supreme Court refuses to deliver its verdict on Jallikattu. Organisers say they will deny the ban and carry out the sport on Saturday. Cold wave tightens its grip over plains of North India as the temperatures continue to dip. Jammu and Kashmir and Himachal Pradesh record extremely heavy snowfall. No relief likely till the weekend, says the Met Department. And Barack Obama bestows the Presidential Medal of Freedom, the highest U.S. civilian honor, on Vice President Joe Biden. Award comes as both men prepare to leave office when Donald Trump is inaugurated on 20th of January. Well, a top story this morning with the prospect of the Election Commission freezing the Samajwadi Party's bicycle symbol looming large. Now, both father Mulayam Singh Yadav and son Akhilesh Yadav, who are locked in a bitter fight over the control of the party, are now getting a plan B ready. On Thursday, Akhilesh Yadav held a meeting with the party workers and assured them that he would soon start campaigning. Now, today, the full Election Commission, headed by Chief Election Commissioner Naseem Zaidi, will hear both the sides and take a decision on the party symbol based on the deposition by the lawyers of both the camps. Now, the EC is expected to adhere to the precedent set during the split in the Uttarakhand Kranti Dal in 2011. Remember, the Election Commission had then frozen the symbol, which was a chair, and had asked both the faction to contest on fresh symbols. Well, with the filing of nominations for the first phase of assembly polls now drawing closer, Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Akhilesh Yadav asked his ministers and legislators not to worry about tickets as he fine-tuned his strategy. As his father and SP Supremo Mulayam Singh Yadav and warring uncle Shivpal camped in New Delhi, Akhilesh remained closeted with his confidants at his official residence in Lucknow to discuss the poll scenario. And my colleague Kriti Mishra is tracking all those developments in Lucknow very, very closely. Kriti, now Samajwadi Party's cycle war is to continue at Election Commission today. But as you were telling us over the last few days, that there is a very huge possibility that the Election Commission may freeze that symbol. So what is the plan B that both the factions are getting ready with?
Well, that's right. The Samajwadi Party, in fact, refuses to subside. The sticking point, of course, remains the post of the party president. So the current stalemate between Akhilesh and his father Mulayam Singh Yadav, in fact, they tried to reach some kind of conclusion, but that didn't happen. So Akhilesh's camp is ready with Plan B. They're also ready that if in a possibility that they do not get the symbol, they might come up with a new symbol, and they have prepared a tech-savvy team that would be trying to propagate the new symbol across the hinterland. And as far as Mulayam's camp is concerned, they're extremely confident that according to the rules and the conventions, it's Mulayam Singh Yadav's camp that would get the symbol. But as far as Akhilesh's camp is concerned, they're just trying to focus that 90% of the party is rallying behind Akhilesh. So in no possibility would the symbol go to the other warring faction. But according to the experts, the Election Commission might freeze the new symbol, freeze the symbol, which is the cycle, and the two factions would be given.
Right. Kriti, also there are some reports that say that Mulayam Singh Yadav is likely to merge the faction with Lok Dal, while Akhilesh Yadav is also may likely float his own party. What are your sources telling you? Is these the talks really happening in both the camps?
Well, that's right, Aishwarya, because Akhilesh's camp is very actively talking to a lot of parties, a lot of smaller parties in the state, either for a merger or for alliance. So they're actively considering the prospects of, forming a huge alliance and take on the rival parties like the BJP and BSP. As far as Mulayam Singh Yadav's camp is concerned, Shivpal is also talking to a lot of other parties to form some kind of alliance to take on not the other parties but on Akhilesh. So this feud is continuing, and it remains to be seen whether they can reach some kind of agreement or not. Aishwarya?
Right, Kriti, as you were saying, both the factions are getting ready with their plan B. But is there a remote possibility that the father-son duo could still come together despite their fight actually reaching the election commission now?
Well, Aishwarya, the contentious issue remains that of the party president. Akhilesh has made it clear that he'll only pass on the baton once the election is over. That is, he's going to remain the party president for 3 months, and Mulayam is not ready to relinquish that post. He says that he wishes to continue to be the party president. So that is one contentious issue. That is, that's the point of difference between the son and the father. So it remains to be seen if they can work out on any other kind of formula to come together and fight the elections. Aishwarya?
All right, Kriti, thank you so much for those details. There's a Samajwadi Party tussle is going to continue at the Election Commission today, and the Election Commission will today decide on who gets that party symbol or if that election symbol gets frozen. Meanwhile, the BJP and the Congress released their first list of candidates for the upcoming assembly polls in both Punjab and Goa. Well, this is the first list of candidates from both parties for the two states.
Both the Congress and the BJP on Thursday announced their first list of candidates for Punjab and Goa. The BJP, which is fighting the Punjab polls in an alliance with the Shiromani Akali Dal, has announced 17 candidates out of the 23 seats it has been allotted. Of these, 5 are sitting MLAs.
पंजाब के चुनाव में हम लोगों ने कोशिश की है कि समाज के सभी वर्गों का प्रतिनिधित्व हो और साथ ही साथ चुनाव में प्रत्याशी जो हमारे हैं उनको हम जो अच्छे प्रत्याशी चुनाव की दृष्टि से हमारे इसमें भाग लेंगे उनकी मैं लिस्ट आपके सामने पढ़ता हूं.
Besides Punjab, both parties have also released their first list for Goa. Congress released a list containing 27 names, retaining its 6 sitting legislators as nominees. The other 21 candidates comprise both old and new faces. BJP's first list for the state contains 29 names, including current Chief Minister Lakshmikant Parsekar and 18 sitting MLAs. However, the party has not announced the chief ministerial candidate for Goa yet.
संसदीय बोर्ड के बैठक में चर्चा होती है. अभी चुनाव समिति की बैठक की चर्चा होती है. अब चुनाव समिति में कैंडिडेट्स की चर्चा होती है, प्रत्याशियों की चर्चा होती है, वो हुई है.
Besides the assembly polls, the BJP has also announced Rajendra Mohan Sena's name for the Lok Sabha by-poll for Amritsar. The seat was vacated due to Captain Amrinder Singh's resignation. With Pranav Goswami and Vishal Daya, Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And expressing serious concern over the possibility of huge distribution of cash and inflow of drugs in the run-up to the Punjab Assembly polls, well, the Election Commission has promised adequate security to maintain a peace and harmony during the polls. Well, on the final day of his 2-day visit to poll-bound Punjab, well, Election Commissioner Naseem Zaidi said that an unprecedented deployment of central forces will be ensured in the poll-bound state to instill confidence among the voters to exercise their franchise fearlessly. Now, referring to the incidents of stone pelting and hurling of objects at the candidates during campaigning, Zaidi said that the Commission had directed the State Police Chief to take steps to ensure that such instances were stopped immediately.
There is going to be large-scale distribution of liquor, drugs and cash distribution in certain identified pockets, and then they have requested strong and forceful preventive action.
And let's get you some more election-related news in Election Wrap. Well, the Election Commission on Thursday said that Prime Minister Narendra Modi's photographs and hoardings at petrol pumps in poll-bound Goa are a violation of Model Code of Conduct. The EC has also alerted the Goan Cabinet Secretary on the issue. The Congress had, remember, complained against the hoardings at the petrol pumps with the Prime Minister's photographs earlier this week. The EC has also raised objections on certificates issued by oil companies in Uttarakhand, which has pictures of the Prime Minister printed on them. Well, the Election Commission has also censured BJP leader Sakshi Maharaj over his population control remark. The EC in its notice said that prima facie, the MP from Unnao in poll-bound Uttar Pradesh has violated the Model Code of Conduct which came into force on January 4th. Well, Sakshi Maharaj on 6th of January had indirectly blamed Muslims for the population growth of the country at a public meeting in Meerut. Meanwhile, the Aam Aadmi Party has demanded the removal of Union Minister Harsimrat Kaur Badal from the cabinet and a registration of a case against her for inciting violence in poll-bound Punjab and targeting AAP volunteers. Now, Harsimrat Kaur had accused AAP of egging people to resort to violence ahead of the Punjab Assembly polls on 4th of February. Meanwhile, former BJP MP Navjot Singh Sidhu is likely to join the Congress party today. Sidhu met Rahul Gandhi in Delhi on Thursday. Well, Sidhu's wife Navjot Kaur has already joined the Congress along with Bargat Singh, a former Akali Dal legislator. And AIMM chief Asaduddin Owaisi will kickstart his UP Assembly poll campaign today from Kairana in Shamli district. Well, the party has released a list of its 11 candidates for the first phase of UP Assembly polls. Now, Kairana was in the news last year due to the alleged exodus of residents due to deteriorating law and order situation here. On to some other news now. Well, DMK will launch statewide protests in Tamil Nadu today against the Supreme Court's order where it turned down a plea to pass a judgment on Jallikattu before Pongal this Saturday. Well, the protests will be held in all district headquarters, condemning the state and central government for not taking appropriate timely steps to ensure the conduct of the rural sport on 14th of January. Meanwhile, protests erupted in parts of Tamil Nadu on Thursday, demanding the ban on Jallikattu to be revoked after the top court said that it was unfair to ask the bench to pass order on the matter. Earlier, the Tamil Nadu government had urged the centre to consider an ordinance to resume the sport last year. Well, other political parties too have asked the centre to intervene on the issue. The Supreme Court, remember, had banned Jallikattu in 2014 on grounds of animal cruelty.
We have put forth a very strong argument to bring out Jallikattu. Everybody is asking why cannot we bring an ordinance. Yesterday, last time we brought a bill. It was quashed by the Supreme Court. Now, when the problem is in Supreme Court, definitely that also will happen. So we want a clear indication and Jallikattu should be conducted without any hurdles. Permanently, there should be a solution.
So our Honorable Chief Minister OPS and our Honorable General Secretary Chinnamma also wrote a letter to Prime Minister, and we all feel we want Jallikattu this year. So let's see what our government is going to give an answer for this verdict.
The Tamil Nadu government has not represented properly. It has not represented the people's feelings and emotions and their appeal properly, definitely to the Supreme Court, not to the central government.
Knowing the sentiments of the people of Tamil Nadu, the state government or the central government has to bring out this ordinance. If they fail to do that, I don't think they can prevent Jallikattu being conducted this year against all the orders like.
All right, we'll continue tracking all those developments in Tamil Nadu and what else is making news in, let's take a look in the day ahead. The Public Accounts Committee of Parliament will examine the CAG report on public funds lying outside government accounts and land management in DDA, among other subjects, as the panel is meeting today. The committee will examine the reports of the CAG and also will call senior officials related to the ministry, which is under its scrutiny, as witnesses to assist the panel. A special Delhi court will hear a CBI report in a coal scam case involving Congress leader and industrialist Naveen Jindal, ex-Minister of State for Coal Dasri Narayan Rao and others. Earlier, the top court had pulled up the CBI for delay in filing the report, saying that it was affecting the progress of the trial. The CBI has alleged that ex-Jharkhand Chief Minister Madhu Koda, also accused in the case, had favoured Jindal Group firms in allocation of the coal block in Jharkhand. Calcutta High Court will hear a plea filed by the RSS regarding denial of permission from Kolkata police for a rally on 14th of January. The High Court on 12th of January had observed the citizens' right to assemble cannot be curtailed as long as they do so peacefully, and had directed the Commissioner of Kolkata Police to consider an application submitted by RSS to hold an event at the Brigade Parade Ground. But the Kolkata police has denied giving any permission for the rally on 14th of January and had asked it to fix an alternate date. Well, we'll take a very short break here. We'll be back with more news. Stay with us.
We have a group at our institute which is trying to understand how do stem cells contribute to wound healing and repair. The group that I'm in is actually one of the younger groups in the sense that it started more recently, and it's a group which studies basically how cells determine what they are going to be. People who are trying to understand how cells make food and how do they utilize their resources, how do they deal with less resources.
Watch Eureka with Senior Professor Apurva Sareen in STEM NCBS Bengaluru, only on Rajya Sabha television.
Welcome back. On to some other news. Well, Tata Sons has named Natarajan Chandrasekaran as their new chairman. Well, Chandrasekaran was the chief executive of the Tata Consultancy Services, or the TCS. Well, the decision comes 3 months after the $100 billion conglomerate ousted Cyrus Mistry and appointed Ratan Tata as its interim chairman in October. Well, Rajesh Gopinathan will replace Chandrasekaran at the TCS. Now, Chandrasekaran was the choice of a 5-member selection committee of Ratan Tata, TVS Group Chairman Venu Srinivasan, Bain Capital's Amit Chandra, Ronan Sen and Lord Kumar Bhattacharya. Now, Chandrasekaran has spent his entire career at Tata Sons after joining TCS way back in 1987.
Well, I feel very honored. I also feel overwhelmed. This position requires several leadership qualities, and I will need a lot of support. It is never a one-man's job, and it will be a collective leadership. And I will reach out to everyone, including you all.
So he's a remarkable choice in my opinion, and he's a great leader. He's a Tata man, Tata lifer. I've worked very closely with Chandra, and I think it's absolutely the perfect choice.
Well, the consumer price index of the retail inflation eased to 3.41% in December 2016 from 3.63% in the previous month. Well, of this, rural inflation stood at 3.83% and the urban inflation was at 2.9%. Well, industrial production also grew 5.7% in November 2016 against a contraction of 3.4% in the same month in 2015. While the growth rates for the mining, manufacturing and electricity sectors for the month of November 2016 stood at 3.9%, 5.5% and 8.9% respectively. On to some other news now. Well, the Prime Minister's office has sought a report from the Home Ministry after controversy broke out over a border security force jawan's videos alleging bad food for the troops at the line of control. Well, BSF Constable Tej Bahadur Yadav put out 4 videos earlier this week in which he alleges that troops are served watery, unseasoned dal and burnt rotis. He also talks about how soldiers stand in hours in icy conditions and often going to bed on an empty stomach. In another video posted on social media today, a CRPF personnel has now asked the Prime Minister to look into the pressures of the force, saying that unlike the army, they get no pension and are deployed anywhere on any occasion. Now, a PIL has been filed in the Delhi High Court, drawing its attention to such videos.
मैंने आर्मी पिछले 2 बरस हम कंटिन्यूस इवैल्यूएट कर रहे हैं, खाना जो मिलता है उसमें सेटिस्फेक्शन लेवल इम्प्रूव हो जाए, और मैं खुद मॉनिटर कर रहा हूं क्योंकि 2012 में या 13 में कंट्रोलर ऑडिटर का रिपोर्ट है, उसके हिसाब से हम लोग कई इम्प्रूवमेंट कर रहे हैं।
ऑलरेडी खाने पीने में कुछ और भी कदम उठाना चाहिए, वो प्रक्रिया भी शुरू कर दिया है और कोई ऐसा घटना ना हो उसके लिए भी सुनिश्चित करने के लिए कमेटियां जो बनाना है ऑफिसर्स के लेवल में, फोर्सेस के लेवल में, वो भी पूरा कर रहे हैं।
तो कभी पाई गई है, आप सर मानते हैं कि जो जवानों को खाना दिया जा रहा था वो सही खुराक नहीं?
हर चीज का अपडेट होते रहना जरूरी होता है। कोई भी काम, कोई भी कार्यक्रम का अपडेट होते रहना चाहिए और हम लोग इसका बहुत ही करीब से जायजा लें।
And for more news from across the nation, let's go nationwide. The Rose Valley chit fund scam accused Trinamool Congress MP Sudeep Bandyopadhyay was sent to 14 days of judicial custody by a special CBI court in Bhubaneswar on Thursday. Bandyopadhyay was produced before the CBI court after his 10 days remand period ended. Remember, he was arrested by the CBI on the 3rd of this month for his alleged involvement in the Rose Valley chit fund scam case. A meeting between Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Congress leader Mallikarjun Kharge and CJI JS Kehar will be held on 16th of January to appoint the next CBI director. Currently, Rakesh Asthana, a Gujarat cadre IPS officer of 1984 batch, has additional charge of the director of CBI. Well, Asthana's appointment has been challenged, remember, in the Supreme Court. Delhi has been declared free from bird flu virus, which had scared the city's residents in October last year. Now, this was declared after 2 consecutive samples collected at a 15 days interval from the last positive results tested negative at the epicenters. Now, following the move, the National Zoological Park yesterday opened its gate for the public 3 months after the scare led to its closure. Delhi police has arrested the chief of a separatist militant outfit, KCPPM, along with a woman associate on Thursday. Well, the chief commander of the Northeast Manipur state-based group, Hoiram Ranjit, is wanted in several militant attacks in the province. Now, Ranjit had come to the national capital from Nepal to meet an associate in a bid to expand their network. Let's now get to the weather update. Well, with the temperatures dipping at most places as icy winds sweep the plains following heavy snowfall in the hill states over the past 5 days. Now, cold wave conditions continue to disrupt normal life in North India. Well, Delhi is reeling under a severe cold wave as the mercury plummeted to 2 degrees Celsius on Thursday, recording the lowest in the month of January in the last 3 years and the coldest day of the season so far. Well, Delhi government has extended the winter break of all the government and government-aided schools till 19th of January. The Met Department has warned that the temperature in the capital will dip further in the coming days. Also in Uttar Pradesh, the cold conditions continue as the temperatures have sharply dipped in the region. Schools in the state which were scheduled to reopen this week that has been extended till 15th of January. While in Punjab and Haryana, the temperature is dipping below the freezing point. Now, Narnaul in Haryana is shivering at minus 0.5 degrees Celsius, while Amritsar and Adhampur in Punjab are experiencing bone-chilling cold conditions at 0.9 degrees Celsius. Meanwhile, heavy snowfall in several places of Himachal Pradesh has also intensified further the cold conditions. Resort town of Manali recorded the minimum temperature of minus 6.6 degrees Celsius, while Shimla shivered at minus 3.2 degrees Celsius on Thursday. Telecommunication links, power and water supply also remains affected. At least 10 persons have died so far due to the intense cold here. The authorities have advised people to be on alert due to danger of avalanches in snow-lined areas of the tribal districts. While in Kashmir, the Met Department has predicted light rains and snowfall at several places in the coming 24 hours. Now, dry weather plummeted the night temperature further below the freezing point. Srinagar recorded a minimum temperature at minus 5 degrees Celsius, so with the Pahalgam at a minus 13 degrees Celsius. Now, Gulmarg recorded minus 13.5 degrees Celsius and the temperature in Leh in Ladakh region was minus 17.7 degrees.
ज़्यादा ठंडी है साहब, यहाँ पटरी पे मरे जा रहे हैं, नहीं कोई आग जल रही है, नहीं कोई कम्बल है, नहीं कुछ है, ठंड में ऐसे ही पड़े रहते हैं पटरी में, मरा जाते हैं ठंड के मारे बहुत ज़्यादा
है। बिजली नहीं है, पानी नहीं है, क्या करें बताओ। यहाँ इतनी ठंड है कि आग सेक के गुजारा करना पड़ रहा है दुकान से बाहर बैठ।
आने वाले मतलब दिनों में जैसा हमने पहले से बोल दिया है कि 10 तारीख की रात से तो 13 तारीख की सुबह तक ये जो पाला पड़ने वाला और शीतलहर ये तो रहेगी, ऐसा पहले ही बता दिया है। तो 14 तारीख के बाद में थोड़ा सा 21 तारीख तक थोड़ा सा टेम्परेचर बढ़ेगा, फिर 21 के बाद थोड़ा और कम थोड़ा होगा, लेकिन ये जैसा अभी कम हुआ ऐसा नहीं होगा।
On to some international news now, and US President Barack Obama has awarded his deputy Joe Biden the Presidential Medal of Freedom, the highest US civilian honor. The medal was awarded with distinction. Now, visibly emotional and surprised, Joe Biden stood by as Obama heaped praise on what he called was the best possible choice, not just for me, but for the American people. Obama praised Biden for his faith in fellow Americans, love for the country, and a lifetime of service. Well, the award comes as both men prepare to leave office when Donald Trump is inaugurated on 20th of January. Well, Biden has said that he has plans to stay active in Democratic Party politics. Well, the Presidential Medal of Freedom has been reserved in the recent administration for just a handful of recipients, including Pope John Paul II.
Joe, for your faith in your fellow Americans, for your love of country, and for your lifetime of service that will endure through the generations, I'd like to ask the military aide to join us on stage. For the final time as President, I am pleased to award our nation's highest civilian honor, the Presidential Medal of Freedom.
This honor is not only well beyond what I deserve.
Meanwhile, a Human Rights Watch has warned that Donald Trump and other populist leaders posed a profound threat to basic human rights. Well, Human Rights Watch has singled out Trump for criticism after his presidential campaign, which saw him attack immigrants, mock a disabled reporter, dismissed the allegations of sexual assault, threatened to deport Mexicans and ban Muslims from entering the United States. Well, the NGO concluded in its annual report that the US President-elect, Russian President Vladimir Putin and other demagogues were seeking to undermine democracy and the rule of law. Other world leaders criticized by the report, which reviewed human rights abuses around the world, included Turkey's President Recep Tayyip Erdogan, President Rodrigo Duterte of the Philippines, Syria's Bashar al-Assad, and Chinese leader Xi Jinping.
Donald Trump's successful presidential campaign vividly illustrated this politics of intolerance. Sometimes overtly, sometimes through code and indirection, he spoke to many Americans' discontent with economic stagnation and an increasingly multicultural society in a way that breached basic principles of dignity and equality.
News from the Middle East now. Well, at least 8 people have been killed in a suicide bomb attack in the Syrian capital, Damascus. Well, the blast late on a Thursday went off in a Damascus district close to the key intelligence and military bases. The suicide bomber targeted Kafr Sosa in the southwest of the capital. Well, the death toll is expected to rise, with several of the wounded in a critical condition. Regime officials said that the armed terrorist groups carried out the suicide bombing. However, it is not immediately clear who was behind the attack. Now, such attacks are rare in Damascus, a stronghold of government of President Bashar al-Assad, which has been fighting rebels in Syria for the last 6 years. Well, that's all in this edition of News. News and updates continue on Rajya Sabha television. Thanks for your time.